Alright, hello. This is going to be a commentary for a 27 Blackrock hold. I did just do a 29 on Froster before this. I did 470k overall, if you want to compare that to, the Arcane Key, but this one's higher overall, so I feel like it's better for YouTube because more people click on the video, and that's nice for me, obviously. I'm playing the normal talents, right, with Rare Frost that I've recommended in my Frost guide, so... We're gonna do my Balefire after my first Comet Storm. And of course, shifting power and whatnot. Here I flurry to go from 4 to 5 icicles, since the main target's unfreezable, as you can see by the fact that it's red, not blue. And then I shattered with my water pet freeze. Not playing Ice Cold here is a little scary in terms of all these soul blasts going off, but I tried to line that one obviously, and that wasn't very successful. But we do play Ice Block here generally for the this is a really bad Ray Frost, obviously that was not shattered. Play Ice Block here generally for the Stinging Swarm debuff, just to, we both move in the same direction. And then I died to the frontal, I believe, actually. But yeah, you play Ice Block here for like the Stinging Swarm, just to immune that off, because that's pretty dangerous. And also it's just nice for like the second boss on the bleed. And if you really want to, right, you can use Ice Block to soak like the charges on the third boss as well. So it's got a lot of opportunity here. Of course, you probably Ice Cold half the things I just said. Except not the Stinging Swarm, since that immunes it off, and with the bleed last 30 seconds, right? So here, I'm not sure if I decide to Icy Veins. I mean, I have Frost Nova since the turtle is one Warrior's Chill. That's also the only one I had up, too. But there, I didn't have a Flurry, so I just Ice Nova so the off target would be shattered, which would just, cleave that damage to my main target and make sure one of my GSs was being shattered. Yeah. And now we're running, obviously. We'll skip here. I made a little bit of a mistake, right? I Icy Veins right there, and you're gonna notice, or I'm gonna notice in about 10 seconds that something's wrong. Because the wall goes up, and my water elemental never had a reason to move. So he's actually just chilling outside. So, make sure you don't do that. Because I'm gonna notice, I'm looking at my water jet, and I'm like, is that gonna go off soon? Or see, he's like that person, sitting behind a window, like just directly staring at you. That's what he's doing right now. So it's kind of funny. I didn't Balefire, mostly because I was moving. Um, and I kind of just didn't pay attention enough to do it, but it's actually a bit unfortunate because it probably would have been up for the next time I used it. I think I decided here to use it on Kona Cold instead, on like a Kona Cold combo. So, not very well, but that's right. Would much rather used it on the Ray earlier, both because that wasn't a double Comet Storm and because um, using it on the Ray earlier would have been, it definitely would be up for like the next pack. Our plan is just to immune this, so we're just letting it the mole live essentially. So then the boss has no mechanics, but he auto phases at 15%. So this one moving doesn't really matter. You can see there's my block. You can ice cold that and live it essentially anyway. So you can absolutely massive amount of damage to kill you through ice cold. Now I don't actually need to shifting power here except for my last CD. So I wasn't planning to shifting power here. I actually meant Bellerillos, and they're on the same button, just with a shift modifier. So yeah, let's go. We're gonna do a little bit of extra damage on these skittering things. You know, might as well throw my orb and stuff. But the unethical part is pressing Balefire. So yeah, sorry. And here I'm trying to like frost or use my pet's freeze, but he's in Narnia. So I'm a flurry from 4 to 5, so I can shatter. Again, I tried to use my pet freeze, it didn't work, which is why I didn't ice nova or anything. So here I'm at ice nova, I believe. Nope, I'm still trying to use my pet freeze, but my pet's still hidden in a spider down there somewhere. And here he's finally here. So this next one's gonna be a flurry and then the freeze afterwards, right? We get a wonderful Ray of Frost. Here I'm seeing I got everything up for my kind of cold combo, so we're gonna go in Blizzard, wait half a second for my orb to come up. I'm gonna ring around them just so this guy gets like frozen when he leaps. Yeah. I kind of delayed my kind of gold because they jumped, which was not very good, but it's okay. And also because I had to CC the knife dance there, I believe. Yeah, that Ray Balefire before Ice Veins kind of questionable, honestly. Also, it probably would have been better if I just saved it for the next pack, just because there's some priority mobs to kill here. Oh yeah, this was the one where the scout's in. So I guess there's no scout in the previous pack, just the Arcanist Archer. So this would have been a good pet freeze, which I do not do. I Frost Nova. It should have been a pet freeze. So we're gonna dwarf off the dot because we love being dwarves. I'm gonna Ice Nova this guy to shatter. Would have been better if I Ray Frost the other guy, but I ended up canceling it for a DB anyway on the knife dance. So here again we're gonna have our kind of cold combo, so we're kind of just looking to set that up instantly. Right. Now we have Balefire. Great. I think Rare Frost does shatter things, but obviously it's instantly broken, so it's not very useful. But we're again using it for when the archers jump out. Yeah, and then I was getting shot. I just did not notice at all. But I had a lot of defensives up there, so that's a skill issue. They finished off that pack, so now we're on the next pack, which has 2 scouts, 2 archers, so we're killing an archer first, right? Interrupt one of the knife dances. I have my pet freeze up. I'm kind of just not paying too much attention to what the mobs are doing to try and do stops. I'm playing the freezes worse. At least I finally pet froze there, so that's good. Here I should be Frost Novaing, so that I double flurry, because the target already had one Moist Chill, but Hospital Kit sent my second lust here, but instead I end up just saving it for the next pull. Here, again, kind of cold combo, right? Like, walking, it's a side thing. See, I'm trying to like walk sideways, but just kind of not doing it. They're in a pretty shitty position for me, kind of cold, which is why I was holding my Comet Storm. I decided to try anyway, and it worked. Ideally here, if we weren't killing the other archer, I would have cleaved off the champion, flurried from 4 to 5, and then shattered the off target, and that would have been this, but this guy's running, so obviously Comet Storm's not going to be much use, but I could have used it there. Now we're just going to the boss, so. Since my Ray was so far away, I decided to use Balefire the other way it can be used, which is not with Icy Veins. It's during Icy Veins after Glacial Spike cast. Because Frost spells are on hit, unlike Fires. So like with Fire, if you're entering an SKB Combust, you want to use it before your Hardcast Pyro. With Frost, you can use it after your Glacial Spike. But of course, best use is with Ray of Frost and kind of cold, so. Here I decided to hold my Comet Storm so I can do a counter cold combo. And then I guess I decided not to. And then I should blink in here. May get targeted with every single one of these, which is going to be unfortunate. If I was in melee, I would have wanted to Frost Nova after that, but not melee. You can't Ice Nova because it would have consumed Winter's Chill, much like Ice Lancing on the last stack of Winter's Chill would, doing that after your Glacial Spike. So we get an extra little Comet Storm on them. I could Ice Nova, but the guy's almost dead, so probably not worth it. Yeah, this boss, if I ever get another bleed, right, I might Dwarf's on CD, but I can go ahead and block it. I think I end up using Icy Veins here, and I should not have, because our DH was still in meta for a while. You can see him popping off, and I'm just, here. There, I blocked the glaive, right? Perfectly healthy. It's very nice on this fight. Whereas otherwise, I would have had like that 30-second bleed, which is pretty crazy. I feel like everyone has an aversion to taking block, and I'm no different. I had the evoker essentially. In this group was like, yeah, take ice block. I was like, oh, do I have to? But it really is better, as much as it makes you have to like get good and start pressing actual offensives, right? Because on the other pull where I got double shot and died, it was probably something I would have ice colded back in the day. So here, since we're doing so many knockups, I'm occasionally going to avoid shattering my Glacial Spike with a root, even though obviously Glacial Spike itself roots, so it's not ideal. Yeah, no cooldowns, no trinket. This is pretty good damage. So here I'm going to go into Frost Nova. It's happening after the root from the other guy, which is pretty good. It was fine that I kind of cold there, by the way, because I hadn't shifting powered, so you have to like add the CD of the kind of cold and the shifting power to what it would be, right? Because normally we hold our Comet Storm if kind of cold is less than 20 seconds away, but if you have shifting power, you can just add 13 seconds to whatever's up when you use it. So I didn't want to hit these because I thought he was going to drag in the next pack, and I didn't want to get threat. But yeah. So I'm starting like 3 million damage behind. Not ideal. But we got our Balefire, Icy Veins kind of gold combo, right? So it's usually pretty sufficient. So assuming I'd been hitting the whole time, that probably would have been over 1 million damage pack. I do make a mistake here. I definitely could have delayed my Comp Storm for the kind of gold. This very fast is like kind of whatever. It didn't need to happen there. So here my kind of gold's up, and I'm like, I'm just gonna save it but these mobs are at 40%, and I end up actually saying they're too low when the Comet Storm comes back up, and just Comet Storming instead, which is just bad, obviously, right? Because I could have just used kind of gold when it was up, or I could have used kind of gold now even probably, and had it been up for the next pull, since we're actually skipping the next stuff here. So saying on your CDs is bad. Let's see, it's 134, and that was 20 seconds after I Comet Stormed. So we need 25 seconds afterwards. I guess I was looking at the damage done, but I think it's pretty easy to tell it would have been 25 seconds, right? But yeah, if you want to watch this, we're gonna jump up here. Then we're gonna use Shadowlands Belt Enchant from Engineering to go invisible. I could have used Greater Invis, but you know, save a defensive, right? Save a child or whatever. Whatever the infomercials say. That seemed kind of tactless. Sorry. Anyway, lots of pad here for Balefire kind of cold combo. Here I want to freeze, but I think it was just going to go to target either the Dominators, so ideally I actually would have flurried the second Dominator, since Glacial Spike is only based on range for its cleaving. Here I'm just trying to Ray. I didn't want to really use it when I had 2 Fierce Frost attacks, but I probably should have used it anyway. These mobs will still live for a large part of Ray's duration, but I also decide to bail or Bellarellis here, but the targets all have Winter's Chill, so I should have Glacial Spiked and it would have 2 targets shattered instead of what I did. I should have ignored that Natural Flurry, since I was at low icicles, and I could have just used my Fingers of Frost. But live and you learn. Mage is really good for this boss. Even on, I think I did 29 Tyrannical, I just lived every time with Barrier up on the Stomp. But of course we have, a lot more defensives than Barrier, which generally means I should probably be the one soaking the most of other people's charges, right? Like this. What I'm trying to do is I don't want to orb because then I can't Ray, and I don't want to Ray because Icy Veins is about to be up. Normally you wouldn't delay this for Icy Veins, but we're in a pretty short scenario. So I'm unlikely to use a loose use of Ray by delaying it here. But we saw earlier how me trying to like delay my Cone of Cold caused me to lose the use, right? So also ideally, hit the boss when you're channeling shifting power. I'm trying not to move here for the charge. I use my ear doll in the GCD. Here we're gonna, flurry into Ray, into Glacial Spike Ray, because we got it up. Easy peasy. Run with my Ice Flows, and I got a bunch of Fingers Frost. so it's pretty easy for me to move. I actually saw some people like on the WoW forums being like, "Oh, Frost isn't mobile anymore." Frost is still very mobile, especially if you're playing Ice Flows, because you know what? Ice Flows is more valuable. Here I'm blanking it, so I can use Bellerellis. But Ice Flows is more valuable when you have longer casts, right? Because you get more value out of them. Yeah, and Ice Flows for a 3 second cast versus a 1 second cast is way better. So we're actually gonna pull all these up. That's because this is a 27. We're trying to two-chest it, for some keys. You noticed I ice lanced after that Glacial Spike into Ice Nova. Since no one was hitting those, I could have essentially shattered both my ice lances by doing that, which was kind of nice, even though I didn't have Fingers Frost or Winter's Chill on them. So that's cool. And depending on your range, it's actually quite reliable anyway. I hate the camera in this room, but it's been unfortunate that we have to Frost Nova just because I would like to not have to like run into melee. But two shattering Glacial Spike is very nice. I believe these also don't jump if they're rooted, but we're CCing most of them anyway, so it's pretty unfortunate I canceled that shifting power there to move because I didn't have Ice Blows. Because if I didn't, I could have gotten another Comet Storm here instead of sending my Cone of Cold with that one. Okay, so I have, you know, Ray and everything. You can CD this. Mainly, you're just looking not to die from the Shadow Bolt he sends. Again, I'm not using Orb because I want to Ray first. Using that Bellerellas like that actually, made so I didn't have to eat Flurry before my Glacial Spike because it was the time between my Fingers of Frost there. So that's pretty good. And then even though I still had Barrier on, I re-barriered just because I'd used Bellerellas. So it took away some of the health of that barrier. You can see I'm overusing Ice Blows a little bit, so I didn't have as many charges as I want. And then I walk into Swirling Blade, which kind of looked like his Blessed Hammer, right? So at least that's my excuse. Here, I'm also going to delay my Balefire and my Ray. You should not Lust on Bolt, because you don't get the 500% damage amp for like 12 seconds after the boss, but here, my Glacial Spike just annihilates the Stinging Swarm because that had a full Balefire on it. I walk into sleep, which was pretty unfortunate. So I kind of just lost 3 to 4 seconds actually right there. I got slept and I blinked, which is a waste of a GCD. But yeah, still. But the other thing is on the 29, I died to this because I didn't have blink and I was very close to it. I was running in a poor, way, right? I was running kind of closer to the outside of the circle in a little bit of a manner that caused me to be, a millimeter closer to the outside every single time I was walking, as rather than inside. So here you can see, block that off. It's easy peasy. But normally that's actually the hardest mechanic on this boss is living the stinging swarms. So but yeah, nothing to talk about here. You're just doing your rotation, right? There, ideally I would have, Fierce Frost, but didn't have time to change my spell queue. So Yeah, just gonna Balefire because he's about to die. And there you go. I get this thing, which is not very useful now that we can craft a bunch of gear. Maybe realize I should have crafted a neck instead of a cloak, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, let me get to the part where I check out the damage breakdown. Should be here. There you go. Alright, I probably want my Ray of Frost to be a little bit higher, but this is fine. I mean, even if you were going by like perfect Ice Lance damage, right? 10% Ice Lance from Chain Reaction is not even close to this, right? Because 10% would be 9 million. So, still good damage, but we definitely are looking for Ray of Frost to be like, more closer to 5% in this key. It is Fort though, so I'll give myself some slack, given there's a lot of AoE here. So, yeah, which we can tell, especially by the fact that my Glacial Blast was 6.2% of my damage, which is very good. With Glacial Blast, you're really looking for 4 to 7% as well. So, 6.2%, very nice. But yeah, that was fun. I've recaptured some of my gear, so not in here, but in my keys I do for the rest of the week, which is just 2 more days. I should have double blue silken lining, a bit more verse, and a decent amount more mastery, which should be really nice. So, yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Goodbye.